Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, I wanted to really spend a lot of time talking about this thing with race because, like I said before, as I said before, for those who just think I'm picking on Teofimo Lopez, for the people that's been on my channel, the non-blacks and the blacks, I've said on several occasions that black people as a whole need to have a discussion on whether we should continue to say that word. Because I am really contemplating trying to just take that out my vocabulary, period. And I'm going to give you an example how I hold blacks accountable. Because like I said before, I blame black people for you guys thinking it's okay for you to use that word. Because they make it bad on people like me who fighting against racism and white supremacy and all types of bigotry towards black people. And I'm just telling you, a lot of you black people just make it bad. You guys are the true problem. A lot of y'all. That's why some of you punk ass niggas, yeah, I said it, is mad because I'm calling y'all out. Yeah, I slipped up, but I meant it. Now, for those who've been on my channel a while, let's go back to, 2019? Now, I made a video discussing the press conference leading up to the rematch with Tony Harrison and Jermell Charlo. Now, I remember that press conference, and I was like, it was cringeworthy. And I was just shaking my head because that was one of the most unprofessional, ghetto, trashy press conferences that I'd ever seen. I understand that you have to try to sell a fight and promote a fight, but I was upset with both Tony Harrison and Jermell, Charlo, because every other word that came out their mouth was the N-word. In this, in that, I was just like, are you kidding me? And I made a video calling them out saying that they shouldn't have been saying the N-word repeatedly like that. Because when you say that word the way they were saying it and repeatedly like they were saying it, you make it seem like it's okay for, well, that's why you have the people like Teofimo Lopez and other people thinking it's okay to say that word. I called them out for that. And those were two black dudes. And a lot of people called them out for that. For that ratchet ass press conference. I couldn't believe, like I said, it was cringe-worthy. I was so embarrassed to hear them talking like that. At the end of the day, you have to show some kind of professionalism. For real. So for those who think I'm just picking on Teofimo, that video is still up. It's in the archives. It's way back there. But I called them out on that. Like, I'm continuing to drop the mic on y'all because I'm making fools out of y'all. Because like I said, so you Hispanics are trying to say I'm race baiting, but at the same time, you didn't call your group out for making racial slurs and race baiting. Keep that same energy. Don't just don't come over here talking to the blacks about it. Don't come on here trying to tell me what to talk about. Because once again, bitch, it ain't your call. Once again, bitch, you don't tell me what I can be upset about and what not to talk about. Like I said, y'all the ones that's crying. I really could say something like, I could really be mean-spirited and just say something real mean. But I'm trying to get you to understand. Like I said, for those who sit up there and say, well, blacks call me that word, so that's why I don't say that. I do not call non-blacks that word. I don't say that. You know why? Because I don't want you to say that to me. I don't want no random, because on the real, you catch me at the wrong time, you better not walk up to me and not be black and say, what's up, my nigga? And then to a certain degree, if a black person say that to me and I don't know them, I'm going to say, who you talking to? Because sometimes when a black person say it, they being disrespectful. That ain't always a term of embracement. And I'm going to tell you something else quiet as kept. There's a lot of black people that don't like blacks using that word. And I want to say something, and this is just real talk. You know, when I worked at this warehouse, it was a brother. I guess you could say he was sort of like I looked up to him. I guess you could say he was sort of like my pops on the job. And he used to give me a lot of advice, and he gave me some good game. I don't want to say what his name is, but his last name was Hall, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. Good brother too, man. And one day I said that word, and he pulled me to the side, and he said, "Come here, man." Because I'm gonna tell you something. In prison, they don't even like for them to use that word. In jail, they don't like for you to use that word. Real talk. And he said, man, you know what? He said, that word is not allowed in my house. That word is not allowed in my house. And he said, you know, would you mind not saying that? I didn't argue with the man. I respected him. And he, you know, and I looked up to him and I said, okay, man, I won't use it. And I never used that word around him again. Why is it? And then here's the thing. When I try to tell you ignoramuses, hey, man, I don't like you using that word around me. Like I said, you shouldn't argue with me if I say, hey, man, would you mind not saying that word? But you want to try to argue, and that's where it gets messed up at. If I ask you, hey, man, would you mind not saying that word? It shouldn't even be no argument. Now, when you get around black people that allow you to say it, then that's fine. But if I say, hey, man, would you mind not using that word around me? Because how would you like it? And I'll give you an example. It was a dude, right? It was a Mexican dude. You know? And I worked with him at this place. Cool dude, too. Used to always give me a ride home when I wasn't mobile. Because we lived in the same neighborhood. We lived about maybe 5 minutes away from each other. Good dude. Real good dude. And I remember one of the supervisors, and he was like some corny black dude. And he would call the dude S.A. He would call him S.A. And finally the dude got mad and said, hey, man, stop calling me that, man. Stop calling me S.A. And then when we was riding, you know what I'm saying, and we was riding home, even though he didn't owe me an explanation, I already knew why he was offended by it. But yeah, he broke it down. You know what I'm saying? And I told the dude, well, I'll say, hey, man, you ain't got to worry about that. I don't call Mexicans S.A. You know what I'm saying? I call them by their name. And that's how I feel when I ask you not to call me the N-word. I will never be comfortable with somebody that don't look like me saying that word. But like I said, the real debate is, like I said, should we continue to allow people that look like us to say it? So for those who think that I'm just singling out non-blacks for saying that word, like I said, black people gonna really have to have a conversation about whether we should take that word out of our vocabulary. But for the people that's saying, well, how come y'all can say it and we can't? Or, you know, why do you guys get to say it and all this stuff? We don't know y'all no explanation. Just like y'all don't have to explain certain stuff about y'all culture to us. Y'all don't owe us no explanation. Once again, that comes with the black people being community property, and y'all think that everybody have to explain something or break something down to y'all. And we really don't. Like I said, I don't owe y'all no explanation. I really don't. But yeah, I needed to get that point across. Because I talked about this. And like I said, I blame black people for this too. Because this is a clear case of going alone to get along. Because like I said, we really have to start evaluate each other. Because we really have to start taking accountability and wonder, how did we get to where we are? So like I said, I don't blame the white man for everything that did happen to black people. Because like I said, some of the stuff black people did to themselves. I'm just keeping it a buck. Anyway, this your boy Town Biz. I'm out again.